He didn't raise his voice when I said it. He didn't slam a cabinet or clap back with a line meant to win the room. He looked at the pot of rice he'd set to keep warm, turned the dial off, and said, "You just told me my role is to lose, May." I had said it like a punchline. Happy wife, happy life. You sacrifice. That's how this works. The words came out bright and cruel. A meme I'd swallowed whole and spit back like scripture. We'd been circling the same fight for weeks. My promotion with late nights, his request to shift budgets because the car needed brakes again, me insisting we deserved the trip this summer no matter what the spreadsheet said. He put the lid on the pot as if rice could be a boundary and wiped the stove with the corner of a dish towel, because he always cleans as he goes. I don't do marriages where one person is the project and the other is the funding, he said. Then he went to the bedroom, zipped a duffel, and came back with the calm of someone finally choosing themselves. "Where are you going?" I asked, stunned that the line I'd paraded 100 times didn't land as a joke this time. He set his keys on the counter, took only the spare fob for his truck, and said, "Somewhere I'm not a martyr." That was a Tuesday. By Friday, I was on my sister's couch in an old hoodie, listening to her espresso machine hiss like a judge. "You told your husband his job is to suffer so you can post vacation photos," Lena said, trimming lilies she'd bought for herself. "And you're surprised he's not clapping?" "It was a joke," I mumbled, except it wasn't. I'd meant it in the way people mean things when they accuse the other person of not appreciating their labor. I had a list, a real one. The meals I planned, the gifts for his mom I remembered, the dentist appointments I booked, the 1,000 domestic admin tasks that never show up on a W-2. I wanted him to say thank you more. I wanted him to forget that my promotion came with a raise that went straight to aesthetic wants, not needs. I wanted him to pay for tires and groceries and half my student loan minimum, while I booked the nicer hotel, because we never treat ourselves. He wins, and he didn't even have to be dramatic to do it. 2 hours after he left, I got an email with the subject line logistics/finances/space. He loves a subject line like a thesis. "I'm staying at a friend's for now. Please communicate by email. No group chat intermediaries. No social media posts about us. Joint bills, I'll pay my half through the first. After that, let's route through the joint account only. I'll share a budget doc. If you need help with the car, we'll plan it. Not pretend money isn't real. Apartment, I'm not locking you out. I'll be here Saturday 10 to 2 to get tools and a week of clothes. If you prefer, I can schedule a civil standby so nobody feels cornered. Otherwise, I'll be in and out during those hours only. Counseling, I've booked a couples consult for next Wednesday if you want it. If you don't, I'll cancel. I'm not begging for my place in my own life. Evan. He wins by calling things what they are. Lena put a hand on my shoulder. "Tell me the last time he asked you to sacrifice something," she said. I opened my mouth, ready to rape the air with examples, and came up empty. Evan turns down happy hours when I text headache. He does the dishes even when I cooked pasta from a jar. He learned to brew my exact coffee when my machine died, and bought the new one when the sale hit even though he hates how it hogs the counter. He's a bartender by night and a contractor by day. Calluses and spreadsheets. He's never once called his work more important. I did. "What if he's not asking you to be small?" Lena said. "Just to stop making him disappear for your self-care?" I rolled my eyes because it's easier than crying. "Don't start. May," she said softly. "You sound like Mom when she was on her martyr tear. I do everything, he does nothing. While Dad quietly paid tuition and mowed 3 lawns. I do a lot," I insisted small. "I don't just exist. I know you do. But you just told your partner his role is to lose so you can feel balanced." She rinsed the lilies. "There's balance and then there's theft." Saturday I went to the apartment during his stated hours because I am good at ignoring feelings but very bad at ignoring schedules. He had stacked his tools by the door, blue box labeled, drill wrapped in a towel so it wouldn't scuff the wall he painted last spring, a bundle of chargers secured with painter's tape, because he's incapable of chaos, even in anger. On the counter sat a printed spreadsheet labeled monthly budget. Current versus proposed with 2 columns in his neat handwriting. Current, rent split, utilities split, groceries 70/30 he covers, Car maintenance 100/0 he covers. Vacation savings 0/whatever may books and then guilt bills later. Student loans 0/may complains nightly. Dining out 100/100 may posts. Proposed, rent split, utilities split, groceries 50/50ths, car maintenance 70/30ths based on miles driven. Vacation fund $300 total/month capped until debt less than $5,000. Student loans, Mays with a voluntary $100 contribution from him while we attack credit card first. Dining out monthly cap, emergency fund $1,000 min. It wasn't mean. It was orderly. It took the helium out of my balloon and replaced it with air I didn't want to breathe. I flipped the page over like paper could save me. He didn't lecture me when I walked in. He nodded hello and kept coiling an extension cord. He was wearing the t-shirt with the brewery logo, the one with a stain I've always wanted to toss, and he's always rescued from the laundry bag like a dog from a rainstorm. You really scheduled therapy, I said, desperate for a new angle. Was that for optics? For us, he said. Every fight we have ends with you saying I don't support your growth, and me paying for the car. I'd like a neutral party to tell us what words mean. I booked the vacations, I said. My voice was a defense and a plea. You booked the vacations with my future money, he said, steady, not unkind. You say we'll figure it out and mean you'll absorb it. I don't want to be absorbed anymore. He sent a link that afternoon to a shared drive. Inside, disclosure. An inventory of his accounts, the shop's assets, his debt small, my debt not small, a PDF of our lease, last year's taxes. He'd watched enough friends divorce to know the only way back to peace is through paper. I stared at the folder and thought about the summers I'd posted soft life while he worked doubles because my balance meant I needed 2 weeks in Tulum. A week later, we sat with a couples therapist named Daria in a room that smelled like peppermint gum and Kleenex. Daria asked me to define sacrifice. I said compromise. She asked, what did you give up last month? I said, I stayed home from Maya's party to rest. Evan said, we were supposed to meal prep that day because the car needed tires, and we DoorDashed twice and then put groceries on the card. Daria nodded and wrote sacrifice versus indulgence in a notebook. Daria asked Evan what he hears when I say happy wife, happy life. He said, I hear work more so she doesn't have to feel less. Daria asked me what I mean when I say it. I said, I mean I'm tired of doing the invisible things and not being thanked. Then she asked a better question. Can you ask for thanks without writing him a bill? I cried because I hate good questions. 2 sessions later, I moved to Lena's because Daria suggested a trial separation with rules. Budget in writing, 1 check-in call a week, no public postmortems with friends, therapy individually on opposite days. Evan sent an email with the subject separation rules / shared calendar / support like we were drafting bylaws for a small, failing country. I'll transfer $500 on the first to cover any shortfall from moving. This is not punishment or pity, it's logistics. We'll revisit in 30 days. Let's split the dog's expenses 50/50ths. I'll keep her this month because my schedule is more stable. We won't sleep with other people while we're deciding if we're us. I don't want to build on top of rubble. We'll use email for logistics, 1 Wednesday call for feelings. No quoting Daria at each other mid-fight. A. Lena taped a list to the fridge of her apartment. House rules. That made me feel 16. Wipe counters, take trash, no dishes in sink overnight, no boyfriends at midnight. She is a judgy angel. She also charges me rent because it's good for your ego to have a receipt. Living on someone's couch is humbling in the way gym lighting is honest. At night, she'd sit at the end of the couch with her feet under my blanket and ask, are you going back because you miss him or because you hate feeling ordinary? Then she'd fall asleep mid-Netflix and snore like a cartoon. The day the brakes failed on the car in the parking lot of the Target, I called Evan reflexively. He answered on the second ring. I'll meet you there, he said. He arrived with a jack, a torque wrench, and a posture that said, I told you so without using those words. He changed the front pads in 40 minutes and refused the cash I'd withdrawn like a person who values dignity, more than even math. We can't keep doing this, he said, washing his hands in the gas station bathroom with that orange soap that smells like oranges and apocalypse. I either live with you as a partner who matters, or I live apart and we divide like adults. I won't be your emergency contact and your backup wallet while you call it romance. That was the last time he touched my car. When the credit card bill came due and I didn't have the spare to wipe out the Cancun hotel deposit I'd booked in a moment of manifesting, Lena stood next to me while I called and asked the manager to apply the non-refundable deposit to a different date in the indefinite future. Growth, Lena said, high-fiving me like I'd eaten a vegetable. We kept the Wednesday calls short and merciless. I said, I'm scared if I stop making everything pretty, my life will get small. He said, what if small is where it's real? I said, I need help feeling appreciated. He said, I need my work seen as love, not unsaid taxes. There was no montage. There was a Wednesday where I admitted that the reason happy wife, happy life, feels good to say is because it erases the fear that I will never be enough without golden sunsets. There was a Thursday where he admitted he likes being needed but hates being used, and sometimes doesn't know the difference. There was a Friday where we ate tacos in silence and didn't perform our progress for anyone. Here's how he wins. Not with revenge, not with a dazzling rebound, not with a threat about my flaws. He wins by staying calm, setting a budget, honoring the separation rules, fixing only what he agreed to fix, and letting me carry the weight of my own words. He wins by treating me like someone capable of growing up. And by being ready to walk if I couldn't. In month 2, Daria asked us to write a list titled What I Won't Do Again. Mine said, book big trips before building small savings. Call sacrifices self-care. Turn budgets into insults. Make his labor invisible because it's quiet. Say happy wife like a ransom note. His said, smile through resentment. Say yes to everything then weaponize the math. Be her mechanic and her husband at once. We read them out loud and did not applaud. I moved back in with a lease addendum we signed in front of a notary. We put the vacation fund on autopay and capped it. We kept the therapist. We hung a grocery whiteboard on the fridge. We wrote thank you on sticky notes for unsexy things. Thanks for calling the plumber. Thanks for canceling the deposit. Thanks for not buying that plant you wanted because we need tires. We put the rice cooker on a timer and ate at the table. My sister says I've become insufferably boring, and I told her boring saved my life. Sometimes I still want to say the line. It sits on my tongue like candy. Instead I say, happy us. Happy work. Happy we planned this. It's clunkier. It's true. I made a new list on the fridge. We both sacrifice. On purpose. The first thing on it is ego. If you are keeping score, he wins. He wasn't a doormat, and he wasn't a tyrant. He tied everything to a calendar and a spreadsheet, and refused to let me turn our marriage into a stage where only one person gets applause. He left rather than lose himself. He offered therapy instead of a fight. He made me look at money with both eyes. He made me choose him when no one was watching. I'm not on Lena's couch anymore. I still sleep in her hoodie sometimes because it smells like humility and espresso. The lilies on her table wilted, and I bought her new ones and put them in the vase without an Instagram story. Tonight I'm making the rice. I set the dial and don't turn it into a metaphor. He comes home from the bar and says, smells good. I say, you do too. We sit down. We eat. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. She weaponized happy wife, happy life, and he didn't explode. He set budgets, set rules, moved out calmly, and made dignity his boundary. He won by refusing to be the sacrifice. If you liked this video, please subscribe for more. Thanks and see y'all tomorrow.